Okay, this video is for Gabe. Now, I haven't been getting many comments because I haven't been posting many videos, but I got a question again. Actually, people have asked me this question before about JET interviews, and the JET interview time is coming up here soon, so I'm actually going to post my response. So what to do and what to expect for the JET interviews. First of all, I can't be certain what you're going to get. Every interview is different because they're set up in many different places around the country. Even at the same interview center, there are several different interview teams. They do try and set them up so that they're basically the same. Your interview will be 3 people. At least one of them will be a former JET, and one of them will be a native Japanese speaker from the consulate, or affiliated with the consulate in some way. And then the third one, maybe a teacher, someone else. Interviews are short. Like any other interview, trying to present yourself well. A big thing for JET is actually they're looking for people who are agreeable and people who don't get flustered. They will try and put you under pressure for that, as much as they can in 20 minutes, which is not that much time. 20-30 minutes for the interview. And they may do that through a mock classroom situation. They ask you to, pretend you're teaching a lesson and introduce yourself. In my case, they said, hey, go introduce yourself and tell us about yourself. And as I was doing that, the 3 people who were interviewing me just started acting like all really bad students. And they wanted to see if I would just continue and ignore them, or try and get their attention, or if I would yell at them, if I would get frustrated. And they did it for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Actually, I was an alternate for JET. I was not one of their first picks. I was just on the list afterwards. I got called fairly soon afterwards, but not directly during it. So I wasn't the best interview. The person who I knew who was probably the best interview, he actually got the location where he wanted. He was on the top of the list. He's really agreeable. Everything he said was, yeah, that's fine. And it was just fun about the whole thing. And that's how his personality is. So be yourself, be authentic, but keep that in mind. One of the things they'll ask you is they say, you put down a suggestion, or they'll probably ask you, you put down a suggestion, you want to be placed in Osaka City. You want to be placed in Fukuoka. What if you don't get that? If you go, well, maybe I'll probably still go, then that's not the response they're looking for. You got to say, well, that's a suggestion. I want to go there, but I really want to go anyplace. Expect that kind of a question, and they're looking for that kind of an answer of, I'm excited to go to Japan. I'm excited to teach, and I'm excited for cultural exchange, because those are the billboards of the entire program. We want this. This is our main message. Anyway, don't play on their keywords the whole time. I know Japanese are really big on keywords. There are keywords for the program. But if you can just look at what the keywords are for the program. They want someone who's going to teach, someone who's going to interact, someone who's going to be a good cultural ambassador and get involved. Have that in mind with your answers, and just portray yourself with how you would do that. And as long as that's your interest, you'll come across authentic. And still, the interviews, there are so many people for the interviews that I think it's still about, I want to say 3 or 4 people per position that they do interview-wise, maybe more. So percentage-wise, the chances are not fantastic. It also depends. They do it by district, so they'll allot so many to an area and say, we want this many representatives from that area. And for each one, for CIRs and for ALTs, whether you're working in the CIRs work in the main city office and do translation and stuff, they may say, we're only going to take 3 CIRs from this place, and 40 people are applying. Your odds are not that good. Some people who actually really get invested in the JET program before they go, they kind of figure out the geography of where people apply and where there are less people applying, so that they have less people to beat out. I have no idea how you'd go about researching that, and I think that's way too involved, and that's getting way too into it. In fact, I think the only person I know who tried to do anything like that didn't get into jet. So, just know that that happens. Doesn't matter. And the other thing is to remember, anyone who's applying to jet, there are other ways to get to Japan. If jet doesn't work out, there's always another way. Even if it's Nova. Nova sucks, but, you know, well. How about let's scratch that. Even if it's other companies, go with Interact, go with Act 7, go with Zayak. I know, they all sound the same. They are. But yeah, there are plenty of other ways to get to Japan if you don't get into the jet program. So keep that in mind, and as long as you're that optimistic about it, you'll probably get in anyways. Okay. That was for Gabe and for anyone else who's interested. So, yeah. It's 12:30 on a Saturday night. Right now, date and time. Okay, good night.